Hey everyone, welcome to Fixing Our Things. I walked in this morning and the heat treat oven wasn't working at all. So, pulling it all apart right now, troubleshooting multiple things. I just talked to the guy from EV Heat on the phone for 10-15 minutes. He gave me some really good ideas. So I'm just gonna poke a bunch of stuff with a multimeter and hope I can fix it. I don't really want to pull this off if I don't have to. So I'm just gonna check both of the there's two different rows of coils inside the oven. I'm going to check to make sure that each of them have continuity and that there's no cracks or anything. Yeah, that might not be so good. The guy I talked to from Even Heat said to visually inspect everything to ensure that there's no cracks. And I think I kind of see one right now actually, which is making me really sad. So normally the heat treat oven just turns on. It's got a little touch display down here, and from that display you can start your program, and then the program will start heating up the coils to heat up the oven. When I turned it on this morning, everything worked fine. Like it turned on like normal, and then when I started the cycle, it just didn't heat up. Oh, we use this thing every day. We can't make knives if they're not heat treated. They need to be hardened in order to hold an edge at all. And this is like one of the very first steps in making the blade, so it's extremely important, and we basically can't make a knife without it. So the coil looks to be broken in this spot, and that means that we have to order a new one and replace it. Well, welcome back. The oven works, we fixed it. It was down for about a week while we were waiting for replacement parts. We picked up extras in case it happens again, which it probably will, so we got a plan for that. And having the oven down for a week sucked a lot. I could basically only run the tiny oven. We had all of the heat treat in the small oven, but I had to time everything very carefully because it's a 7-hour process. Yeah, so we've got 3 extra thermocouples, 2 extra coils for the big oven made out of Sandvik nickel chrome wire. They're super special high temperature coils. Some extra fuses, and this is a relay that turns the coils on and off. Apparently these things go the most, and then these are easily replaceable. So we'll probably change these out like every 9 months or something like that, because they get kind of burnt and gross. This little bead at the bottom gets cooked up really quickly in the big oven. This is going up to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. I'd like to give a shout out to Frankie Blades on Instagram, Tactical Pterodactyl Knives. He's got a video on his YouTube channel of him replacing coils in a smaller but very similar Even Heat oven. Watching that helped a lot with the reassembly, disassembly, because I really had no idea where to start. But watching his video showed me how to do it. So I suspect that the original coil in the oven broke because it was never maintained. You're supposed to brush off the oxide and vacuum out the oven once or twice a week, because it kind of grows this green powdery oxide on it over time, and it flakes off and it goes all over the place, and the inside of the brick will start to powder off and go all over the place, and it kind of gets really gross and dusty inside the oven. So we plan to brush everything off, vacuum it all out, make sure it's nice and clean, and do that at least once a week to keep it going for as long as possible. So the biggest issue with this whole thing was, after waiting for the parts for about a week, we had to actually install everything ourselves. So these replacement coils go in from this box into the inside of the oven and kind of loop around and then come back out. And when I pulled out the old coils, it like broke a bunch of the wall where it holds them in, and it doesn't really hold them in very well anymore. They're in there, but not super tight. So it works fine, but it's kind of like we're worrying about the age of the oven now going forward. If we have to replace it again, is it going to get worse, that kind of thing. So that's another reason why maintenance is super important, because these things, all this brick is fragile, and every time you mess with it, it's going to flake off and powder, dust, awful. There's 2 ceramic rods in the back corners that hold the coil in so that it doesn't spring back out, because it's basically just a big spring. And when when we put those back in, the coil was putting pressure against them and they just kept breaking and breaking and breaking. So it's kind of just jammed in there with multiple pieces right now. It works, not ideal, but we don't have replacements of those parts right now, and everything's fragile. So if you don't have to replace your coil, don't replace your coil. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Make sure to go and like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And that's it.